Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a pretty radical idea today. What if truth isn't some fixed thing you find, but more like a moving target? We're going to break down a whole new way of thinking, one that's built for a world that, just refuses to sit still.
So let's start with this quote from our source material. It's a really powerful idea. It's basically saying that the very foundation of how we've always checked our facts, this thing we call ground truth, might have been, well, a useful illusion. Something that works just fine back in the day, but now, in our crazy, hyper-connected world, it's starting to show some serious cracks. So to really wrap our heads around where this is all going, we first got to look at the idea we're leaving in the rearview mirror. This really deep-seated belief in a single, stable, never-changing truth. Yeah, for the longest time, ground truth was our anchor. Think of it like the ultimate objective source of truth. The master answer key in the back of the textbook that you could always flip to, right? It's what we used to check our work against, whether we were building a huge scientific theory or even training an AI. And you know what? For a long, long time, this model worked beautifully. It gave us this solid pillar to build everything on, and it was perfect for a world where things changed pretty slowly, and your reference points didn't just vanish overnight. But then, our world basically hit the gas pedal hard. The pace of change, both technologically and socially, just went exponential. And that put this whole idea of a fixed, stable truth under an incredible amount of pressure. And this gets us right to the heart of the problem. Our collections of data, our maps of reality, were becoming obsolete almost the second we created them. The world was just moving way too fast for us to keep up.
This creates a huge, huge challenge. I mean, think about it. If the very foundation you're building on is constantly shifting like sand, how can you build anything that's meant to last? How are you supposed to trust your AI, your data, or even the news you see? All right, so what's the way forward?
Well, the solution that's being proposed here requires a totally different way of looking at things. We need to stop thinking about truth as some static object that we have to go out and find, and start seeing it for what it is, a dynamic, living system. So this new model, it works on three really key principles. First, truth has to be constantly re-verified. It's not a one-and-done deal. Second, it's contested, and this is the cool part. It actually gets stronger when people challenge it from different angles. And third, it's always, always contextualized. A fact just floating around without its context, it's pretty much meaningless. This completely reframes the goal. We're not on a treasure hunt for one single final answer anymore. Instead, winning means being part of a continuous process, a process of learning and challenging and working together to refine what we understand. Now, this new idea of truth isn't just some abstract theory. It completely changes how we should think about knowledge itself, and maybe even what it means to be intelligent in the first place. Just look at this comparison. On one side, you've got the old model. This is probably what we're all used to, right? Knowledge comes from the top down. It's handed to us by some authority, a professor, a textbook, you name it. It's a total one-way street. But now, look at the new model. This is wild. Knowledge here bubbles up from what the source calls collective coherence. It's not about one single perfect source anymore. Instead, it's all about how well the information from a ton of different sources fits together, like a giant puzzle. A great example is scientific consensus. The truth isn't just declared by one person, it emerges from a whole chorus of interconnected facts that have all been checked and rechecked. And this, right here, leads to the biggest shift of all. For centuries, we've basically equated being smart with being certain, with knowing the right answer full stop. But this new way of thinking suggests something completely different. Real intelligence isn't about having a fixed answer locked away. It's the ability to constantly, calibrate your understanding as new information flies at you. It's about being really good at being uncertain and being endlessly adaptable, whether you're looking at a complex news story or brand new scientific data.
So we'll leave you with this final thought, which just sums it all up so perfectly. In a world that's changing every single second, maybe the smartest thing you can be isn't right. Maybe, just maybe, it's being ready to be wrong. It's about having the skill to constantly adjust your thinking, to recalibrate, and to just keep on learning. It's a huge shift, right? Away from just knowing things and towards the process of learning itself.